All right. So now I want to talk about what I've watched this last week, which is international, which is an Indian film. It's Telugu cinema, which I may have mispronounced. Indian cinema, and it's by the same director who directed RRR. This is one of his earlier movies from 2015, and it's called Bahubali, The Beginning. And I was told previous to watching it that it's sort of to look at it like India's Lord of the Rings, because it's very fantasy based. Um, I don't know if that's really the best match for it. I would say that probably um, it it's got some King Arthur elements in it too, like some Chosen One stuff, and the first part of it was I found kind of confusing, at least for me, and part of that could be because I wanted to watch it in the proper language it was filmed in, which is Telugu, and the only copy I could find had really bad subs. So sometimes the subs would just not come up. So I don't know what that person said. And a lot of the names are similar. And an actor plays multiple roles. And because I couldn't keep track of the names properly, I had a hard time following it. It came together in the middle, and I really liked the second half of it when it was a lot more action, and I sort of caught on to what was happening in the movie. I think it's something that's got to be watched more than once, for sure. And it's at the time it was the biggest hit from Indian cinema ever, and I think it had the biggest budget of all time at that time as well, which has now been trumped by RRR. But what I thought we could do, because it's hard for me to explain a movie I didn't really fully understand myself, but I did enjoy a lot. I really liked it. Is we're going to look at a trailer, and yes, I'm going to stop it and we'll talk about it, and I'll get copyright claim, but I don't care. So let's watch. So you guys have never seen this, right?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
This is a first.
You're in for a treat. Okay, let's do this. First part of the movie. I don't want to go into spoilers, but this is early on. There's a child that's saved by this woman who fights off two men who chase her. She ends up having to trade her life for the child's in the river. She prays to the god Shiva. They make a deal, so the child lives and she dies. And there's a cool sort of scene, like sword and like a King Arthur, Lady of the Lake scene, where she's holding the baby out of the water, and for I think it's hours, and she's underwater, but her hand is still above water holding the baby up. And that's the beginning. And then the child is then called some derivation of Shiva. So it was confusing for me as a Westerner to look at, well, Shiva's the god, right? But also they're calling him Shiva. So I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be considered a god or not. I didn't know how that worked, but hopefully I'll learn more. So that right there, that's the moment in the film when it picked up for me, was this fight scene, and then it goes on from there, and the action is unbelievable.
You may want to. You may want to drop the audio about 20%, just a little, just down a little bit.
Okay.
Just down a little bit.
And visually, this looks stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely, at the waterfall, I genuinely couldn't tell if they were shooting on location or if it were CGI. So that's pretty rad. And
so Sathwick says in the chat, Bahubali is the last name of the king. And they were calling him Bali in it as well. So like I did pick up on that. But like I said, it's not that the film was confusing, it was that I was confused. So I need to find another copy with better subtitles, because you can't miss out on what they're saying. It is important. And but it was nice because here's the thing, guys, this is on Netflix, right? You can all watch this right now. But for whatever reason, Netflix has it in 4 languages, including English dub. And none of them are the actual language it was filmed in, which is Telugu.
Wow. Okay.
So every version on Netflix is dubbed. So it's dubbed into Tamil, it's dubbed into Hindi, dubbed into English, and then I think a Malayan or something is the other language, but none of them are the actual original language. So that's the perfect pristine version with good subs, but it's the wrong. It's a dub, and so I want to hear the actors, and I don't know if when they dub it, if they use the same people or not, and so that was important. But the subs that I found were horrible, so I missed entire parts of it. But it was fun enough just to watch the visuals.
Paresh says the waterfall is fully CGI. We're getting a lot of inside baseball from our friends who are fans of this cinema. It's wonderful to have you in this fandom.
Yes,
it's really wonderful. Yeah,
and so I'm going to keep doing these because I'm I was so excited to find these movies because I find a lot of Hollywood boring, and I go to Japanese cinema, Korean cinema, which we're going to talk about later too a little bit. But this is like, it's sweeping epics like this that we don't have, with heroes that are heroes and that you pull for, and villains who you don't feel bad for, who are a challenge, but you don't sympathize with them. You can just be angry at them, which is how it should be, and Hollywood's kind of losing that for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, vent over.
Wow.
Thing I found that was cool, and that I don't know if this is on all copies, but every single scene where an animal was being harmed, in the bottom left-hand corner it says CGI.
Wow.
So
that happened in RRR too, remember?
Yes.
They had at the beginning where, like, I didn't need to know this. I mean, you can kind of visually see that they're not real animals.
Yeah, but I think it's still a nice touch if people aren't sure, and maybe it's a cultural issue too. But yeah, it's this is a very cool scene too.
Well, especially the cow, because the cow is a very sacred animal, so
right.
They wouldn't want anyone to think that they harmed a cow.
So Sathwick also is saying Bahubali was streaming on YouTube for free at 4K on their official channel, but when the OTT wave came into India, it was taken down.
Okay. We also have some more information, which is from Many-Faced One God, who's been dropping some great knowledge tonight. Thank you. Says, assume these two movies has a 4-part series. The first movie has third and the first part of the miniseries. So some complexity here, but they're visually stunning. That is absolutely for sure.
And maybe you guys can tell me if this is true. I did read this, that the re-released version of this, which is the one I believe I watched, at the end there's scenes from the beginning of the second movie, so they really flow into each other.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. More. How awesome is this movie?
That's crazy.
Dude,
wow.
That is so rad.
And this has almost like a, I want to say Dynasty Warriors, because it's a game where there's, everyone's dangerous, but there's the big heroes in the middle of the combat who are just wrecking shop the entire time. And like, it's so inventive, like creative. Who would think to ride a horse through like basically through a wall like you did? But it's and this is one there's a few trailers. This is my favorite one of the trailers, but we'll get going again. But guys, like, definitely have to watch this. Sorry, Salty.
No, it's okay. I was going to say, Sarushi says animal laws in India are strict. So every time there is an animal on screen, they have to specify that the animal has not been harmed or that it is CGI. Wow, that's amazing, you guys.
So I can guess from the end of this movie and the way it goes that the second movie must be off the charts, because it would start like this. So that's the scene I was talking about at the beginning, where she's got the baby out of the water like that.
Wow. Look at we have Fletcher Williams says, can we have this dude direct Thor? That would be epic. Could you guys imagine?
So I think the budget for this was around 30 million. Can you imagine, like 200 million for She-Hulk?
Yeah. Well,
oh my God.
Yeah.
And
yeah, $80 million for 4 episodes of Wheel of Time. 45 minutes long. Yeah, where's all that money going? Yeah.
Roman, I would kill to be in a production like this. This looks so much fun. Like, those guys are just going berserk on the battlefield. You know that, like, that set is just wild with energy and testosterone, and it looks way too fun, man. That would be so cool. Yeah. Might need to get a helmet.
So this is just like, I think that there's a two halves of the story, but that only shows, like, that trailer shows a few of the action scenes, but there's a lot like that, and there's a rivalry between these two brothers to be who can be king, and that's an interesting path that they take with that. So something to pay attention to. It's a different way to tell that story because it's not as simple as the oldest child gets to be king. They compete throughout their lives, and to see who's the better man overall gets to be king, and it's an ongoing thing. So it creates that the tension between the two characters, and they're both in that final battle you're watching. So it's like something that you definitely have to watch. I need to watch it again and have a better handle on it before I can do a real review of it. But yeah, there's more like compared to RR, there's more singing in it in the first little bit, but it's actually good. So it's part of the culture and it's part of Tollywood. So definitely worth watching, and it's on Netflix. So if you don't care about the language, then I would definitely give it a watch on Netflix. What do you guys think?
I want to watch this. This looks amazing. This looks absolutely amazing.
Flaccid, is that too manly for you?
No, it's right up my alley. It's good. I mean, I was gonna ask, are there hairy and oiled up men in this like they are in RRR?
In your
because
house?
RRR is a pro hair muscle propaganda piece that I'm all about. I watch on repeat at my place. So.
Yeah, NTR is not getting waxed. That's for sure, is he?
What would you place this, like close to RRR? Would it be just a little lower because of the budget, or is the story better in this? I would want to know how you'd compare the two.
That's tough because this isn't it doesn't feel like a complete film yet. It's somewhat, I would compare it to Dune, and that's half of a story that has to be finished. Like you couldn't leave it like this.
Wow.
Yeah. And so RRR is a complete story, but if they cut that in half, which they could have done, I would say it's similar to the first half of RRR.
Look at what Sathwick says. They shot the war scenes for 6 months due to injuries and having to work with 200 plus extras on set. First time in India that such a scaled battle was shot. Wow.
Nice.
It looks like the battle scenes for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it does.
Even,
it absolutely does.
This is interesting too. Samar says that Indians felt that RRR was actually not up to the mark of Bahubali.
Wow.
So
Really?
it sounds like Bahubali was actually more so of a film that they enjoyed. But I mean, like you look at the Helm's Deep, like how many urukai they had to put in those things, how many nights they were out there shooting while rain was on them, and the masks and the makeup and stuff. It is a full-on production, and they are out there for 10 to 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours a day just filming.
Wow.
So
Harley Dave calls it, there's an incredible Star Wars X-Wing fan film that posted recently, better than anything Disney since they took over. I can drop a link if you want. Harley Dave, shoot that to me on Twitter if you're out there. I'd love to see that.
And Sathwick says, Indian films always have great hair.
They do. It's true.
There you go, Flaccid.
Punk Waddle agrees. Pro hair is the right attitude.
There's actually a great Batman fan film that was made not too long ago, and that is like it's only 15-30 minutes maybe, but if they made that into like a full-length movie, that would be my new Batman.
They just don't want to make money. They want to they want to jerk themselves off with the ESG scores. That's all this is, and it's starting to show, and they're not making money. And it's not just in entertainment, it's in banking, it's in other sectors as well. And guess what? At the end of the day, you're in business not to virtue signal, but to make the cheddar.
Mm-hmm. So that reminds me of something about this film that I want to take you guys through. And it just tells you you're 100%, you are not in California anymore. There's a scene where there is a strong female character in this protagonist who works with a hero, and they have a relationship. But when they meet, she's trying to kill him. And for the most part, like attacking with his sword, he's mostly defending, but kind of just brushing her off a bit. And then as it goes further, now you guys aren't going to believe this, and you may want to plug your ears, but he starts to strip her as they're fighting.
What's the name of that movie?
Bahubali.
Gotcha.
Because
Gotcha.
this culture, you have to be stoic. She's stoic. She gives no emotions or anything like that. And so and they actually have a mask as part of who they are that they carry with them. And so he
Very
wants to see.
Sorry, Zach. Is it like Zorro from Zorro?
Yes.
Where
Yeah, very much like Zorro, where he wants to see behind her mask. He's saying, and so he's her armor type clothing. He's peeling off, and underneath she has the more colorful clothing. And then he actually takes nearby fruit and puts it on her like it's makeup.
Wow,
Like,
that's incredible.
That's incredible. You would not see that in Hollywood at all. And I mean, it's tastefully done. There's no nudity, obviously, but you would never ever see that.
Gamers Family says Tambad is an Oscar-level Indian movie which took 6 years to complete shooting. Wow. Yeah.
So you just watched the first one of this, right?
Yep.
So I was going to ask, because like I said earlier, this director is his favorite director, he said in an interview, is Mel Gibson. Did you notice any themes in here or any shots? Because he said he doesn't feel like he's ripping off Hollywood or his favorite artist, because he feels like he's honoring them in a way. And I agree. Like, if a shot looks amazing and you're going to try to do it and just put your own twist on it, it's not really stealing. So do you notice anything in here? Because in RRR there are scenes and shots I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of whatever movie.
I would say that, yeah, it does, in that there's, like, similar to Braveheart and also Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of this sweeping shots coming in. Yeah. I don't know whether it would be a drone or however they would film that, but coming in to show the landscape and all the different colors, and then the characters moving through the landscape. And there's this movie, I think it was shot in Bulgaria too, so you can see there's different climates and different terrains throughout it, depending on where they are, what point in the movie they're in. And so, like was said in the chat, that waterfall was CGI, but it looks really good in the movie. You don't really look at it as being CGI. So yeah, I can see the comparisons.
Did the because there were a few times, maybe it was the bowl that I saw that the CGI for me, I was like, it took me out of it, because I was like, okay, I see, it's very clearly. Did you ever feel that while watching this? Did you feel like really engrossed? And even when that CGI came in, it didn't really hinder the story, and you just kept going? What was your take on that?
It didn't. I wouldn't say no. It didn't. I didn't hinder the story. You just kind of. It doesn't take me out of it. You just kind of have to go along with it, I guess. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Ably Vicky says the second part of this has a stronger female protagonist compared to the first one, in their opinion.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Devsina, which is another female character, and yeah, she is dope, is what they say. She's a very, very strong, very focused character in this film. Really good. So they have all levels of characters here, and they don't have to step on one to make the other look good. It's a very rich sort of tapestry, and still good with good versus evil. And you get a lot of flashbacks, and the character who you see he plays Bahubali, and he also plays his son. So that's where I was also getting confused, who is he now? Are we at 60 people?
Yes, we are. And let me call out Lyle Hammock, Mrs. Hammock, and the little Hammock. He says, hello, this amazing panel. I'm working late and can't stay. I'm disappointed because it looks like you guys are going to talk Demon Slayer, one of my favorite animes. Hail to all. Love you guys. Well, Lyle, I am sure Zax will drop just that section out, the anime section out, as a video from the live show. It's always great to see you. Hail to you, Lyle Hammock.
You better believe it. We've got some donations to go through here, actually.
Outstanding.
From Silverlock, who tipped $5. Thank you very much for that. Give these guys some culture. Yeah, I'm working on it. These guys are pretty good, though. These ones are. Anyone who's willing to be here and to go through this with me, I think they've got. I don't know. I'll stand with them anytime.
Even Flaccid. Flaccid.
You know what? As much as he gets a bit of I don't know, a bad rap sometimes. He's a pretty solid dude.
Yeah, I smell okay too.
You say.
Yeah.
Hail to the
in my book.
Hail to the Comic Relief Crusader. Thanks for joining us tonight. Also, hail to Shri Singh, who says, watch Prabhas and Rajamouli, first movie from Chatarapi. And if I mispronounce, please. I'm just a dumb American doing the best I can with some of these words. So, hail to you.
Yeah, Prabhas is the actor in Bahubali, the main character.
Understood.
But for that, Silverlock's going to get this clip. It's from RRR.
Wow.
And for that movie, if you haven't seen it yet, you still should see it. But their characters are themed on water and fire, and so that is a visual representation of that.
Yeah, and Sathwick says, you guys need to understand that Bahubali was a giant step or a giant leap, and the team figured out how to handle CGI shots through making of the films. That's why RRR has the best CGI of India. Fantastic.
And I've got another donation from Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for $13.37. And Daniel says, I've said it before, but I agree so much with your preference of wanting to hear the original voice work from actors, regardless of the language. Yeah, that's very important, I think. That is always the best version.
Yeah, I only want dubs. I only want subtitles. I don't want dubs at all. I want to hear the actual language. I want to hear the inflection of the actors, you know?
And for that, and that's from RR. I hate that character. I hate the character, but it's a cool scene.
That's not what Zach told me in private.
Yeah.
I agree.
He's
that's
pro
a really
governor.
Cool scene.
Oh yeah, very pro. You could not watch that movie and be pro governor. It would be impossible.
I was going to ask you about this movie. Is it as consistent as RRR is in the way they just like that shot you just showed right there? It seems like over the top when you just show a little snippet of it.
Yeah.
But it's that way consistently all the way through it. So it never feels like you're taken out of it. If anything, you're just kind of like, whoa, that was cool. Not like, what's going on here? This is totally unrealistic.
Yeah, and they're in this movie they're limited to the people, so there's only a few people who can do that kind of stuff. So not there's the hero characters who they're the
Gotcha. Okay.
and so they can do crazy stuff, but most people can't. Like there's the scene with that where they're putting up that statue, and all the people that are gonna lose it, it's gonna fall, and then one guy comes up and he shows up and he puts it in place. So
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of people, Kyle asking if you're going to do the Bahubali 2 trailer.
Not today. No, I want to watch it first, the movie, before I do a trailer.
So next week, we'll watch it. Yep.
Next week. Yeah. And I'm going to do a review for Bahubali as well, and I'm still finishing my RRR review because it takes forever to do those, but I'm working on it. So, so is this something you guys would watch?
Absolutely.
Mike?
Oh yeah.
Probably, maybe. I mean, it's not my thing, but I loved RRR as far as the action. It was a shot of adrenaline. You can't help but sit up and be hyped. So, yeah, it's not something I will avoid. But yeah, it's not my thing that I'd go look for.
Right. Yeah, fair. But you did watch RRR and you liked it?
I did. Yeah, no, it was very enjoyable and I was really pumped. And it was when I was entertained the entire way through, and it was definitely worth watching. But if I have my choices, I prefer a different slant on my action movies. It isn't over the topness. For example, I love Kingsman.
Oh yeah.
Kingsman's a movie where the action's over the top and you can't take it seriously. So it's not that, and I love movies with dances and singing. So it's not that. It's just overall, it's just not a goal of mine. It's not on a list that I would make to watch.
Fair enough. Brandon, how does it compare from what you've seen with anime style action?
They have a lot of similarities from what I'm seeing. Some of the sweeping shots, and the over the top action, and then even in some of the quieter moments, it definitely has that similar feel to it. I could see myself watching something like this. So yeah, I would be more than happy to check it out and to enjoy a quiet evening.
Oh, ladies.
Okay. In chat, I've got Nosferatu. Can you give us a live shoulder workout? You know what? That's for my OnlyFans I'm gonna start up Nosferatu. So we'll talk about that in private. How about that? Southwick, is it on? Oh, Hulu. I don't have. There's no Hulu in Canada, unfortunately.
Look at this. People have seen Bahubali 1 in cinemas 6 times and Bahubali 2 7 times. Now this is a fandom. These are people who are, these movies were made for the fandom. It's amazing, isn't it, when you do that? That kind of fan loyalty? Absolutely amazing.
Comic Relief Crusader says he's getting through RRR, and wow, great movie so far.
Awesome.
Glad you're checking it out. It's worth your time for sure.
I can't wait to watch more of these trailers. This was such a good idea, Kyle. You're crushing it with these.
Yeah, and then we did KJF 1 last week, and so this I did watch the second trailer for that for the second film because it's that one's bonkers. So I will watch that one too. But yeah, I think one at a time every week, and I'll try to review a different film every week. That's my goal. But it's the challenge isn't watching them; it's finding the right copy to watch here.
Yeah.
So I appreciate in the chat all the help with the directions to find it because it's not easy. I did find some on YouTube, which probably shouldn't be on YouTube, but the sound was really bad, and I can't do that. I can't do bad sound in a film like that.
Yeah.
Hail to Darius Munchausen, who's in the house. Great to have you here. Also, we have Pops is in the house. I may have missed it. Where is Bahubali available for us in the U.S.?
It is on Netflix. Both part 1 and 2 are on Netflix in multiple languages. So, including an English dub, which I haven't put on and probably never would, but it's there. But the thing about this English version is it's 20 minutes shorter. So I'm not sure why that would be either.
Wow.
Yeah. And Punkwaddle, Pops, Darius. Hey guys, thanks for coming out, everybody.
I like that this is so stylized. I think you guys were talking a little bit earlier how without context, seeing one of these clips, you'd be like, what the hell is going on? Like there's fireworks coming in the back and people are in slow motion, like, fighting each other. And there's like zoom ins and like spanning crazy shots of big armies. I kind of almost like that stylized form of it's like anything, it's like any type of comic book that has a certain type of art. You almost learn the artist's way of performing that, and it makes it even more enjoyable because of that story. And so I love that this is so stylized. I think it's cool.
And it's, I guess, like you asked earlier about comparisons with Mel Gibson, or Flaccid Head, but there's also, you can't avoid the Zack Snyder comparisons in some of the action shots, especially with a film like 300. You can sort of see,
100%. Yeah,
it's not the same, but it's a similar look, and both guys could make awesome music videos if they wanted to. Back in the day,
yeah. Oh.
Like really, like that could be, and even the music in the trailer is pretty badass.
Nice.
I need to respond to chat since this has been a running gag for 2 weeks. This is for Doviende Setovius again. Says we need to get Salty a cricket puppet so he can fit in with you guys next time. Well, I am not sad to report that the cricket has been KIA and is no longer in the office. So I didn't do it. My dog did. So we will not have any more cricket noises for a while. That's what I'm hoping.
It was fun to pull clips last week because it's like out of context crickets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, it was fun. Yeah, that's the word.
It sounds like a soundboard, but it's not.
I still haven't even gotten a chance to watch the stream that got taken over by the puppets.
Oh,
I still haven't gotten a chance to watch that. And
I'll send you where it starts. The problem was there was so much profanity and so much stuff going on. I couldn't edit it together. And God bless the Cotton Connection and Snowdub, Punk Waddle, everybody, Wilton, Floral from Under a Rock, Baphomet. You guys are absolutely fantastic. It's just I couldn't clip all of it, and I'll leave it up there for people. It's toward the end of the stream, probably the last 30 minutes. You just check it out from not this week, but the week before. But yeah, I look forward to working with them again, but not on my channel, on theirs. So yeah.
Lots of RIPs for the cricket. We got cricket merch requests from Pops. We've got Stephen Ransom saying, "We will miss you, cricket."
Let's put F's in the chat for cricket.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put some cricket merch in my Teespring store, and we'll see what you guys do. I'll do a cricket pint glass and maybe a cricket coffee cup, and we'll see. We'll see. Put your money where your mouth is, everybody. I mean, you know.
You know what? Too. No, we have a crossover with cricket, the sport.
It's true.
Cricket,
I know.
Cricket is the religion of India, is what it's comment.
I don't understand that game. No disrespect, but I just don't get it. Like, I don't. And it's, I need to educate myself, but it just looks cool. The sweaters are cool, and the bats. Who doesn't want a bat like that? Look at all the F's in the chat for the cricket. You guys are killing me.
That's
I am
awesome.
apparently a murderer. So,
Cricket
punk
love.
bottles. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it wasn't
cricket.
you that killed it; it was your dog.
Blame
the dog.
The dog did it, but then I scooped it up and put it in the
Let's put a
garbage.
disclaimer out there for if this reaches India, because I think it is. No cricket was harmed on this stream. It happened off stream.
No.
CGI.
It died of old age in my dog's mouth. That's what happened. That's my story.
Oh, poor cricket. And interestingly enough, cricket is taking off here in where I live in Canada. There's always cricket games going on. There's an entire park now that's just cricket games. So it's taking off here. I don't understand what cricket, like the rules, don't know. It looks like fun, but yeah, it's picking up here.
We have Ahad Perry says, "Hey everybody, what do you think about Indian movies in general?" Well, I got to tell you, Zax has been showing us a lot of things that I didn't know exist, and I didn't know about RRR. Most of what I thought about movies from Indian cinema involved a lot of dance numbers, but as I'm seeing, there are some amazing action movies, and the representation of strong men in roles that I want to see them in, and strong women in roles that I want to see them in Indian cinema. It's actually it's really good to see, because those are disappearing here from Hollywood. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving it. I'm trying to watch as much as I can and getting lots of great recommendations. So, and I know Flaccid just did a review, right?
Yeah, we did a review.
Oh,
I had Zach's
nice.
on my channel, and we did a review, so you can find it there on my channel. But what we said in my review too was it's interesting, and something when you notice when watching it is that they do a lot of showing, not telling, in RRR, and it's very universal storytelling. To think that some of these people are fans of old Hollywood movies or great Hollywood movies, and they're trying to translate them to the Indian audience, and there's things that are universally harmonizes with us throughout all cultures, and it's interesting to see that in RRR as an American, to see it and be like, wow, this is so cool, I love this, like just something that speaks to everybody.
yeah, it looks like Kyle, we've got a request to respond to the Tambad trailer with no dance or that one, but we'll probably end up doing that in a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely will. I've heard that name a few times now. I've had it recommended to me in my comments and now a few times in the chat. So I will definitely check that one out. We could do that on a stream someday for sure.